Hello.
Obviously a tough result over the weekend, in many ways a flattering result for Liverpool really. How do you reflect on that game and what's the mood been like this week amongst the players?
The reflect of the game was a very positive one from our side. I think that we showed, especially the first half, that also against a big team it's possible to play like we do. The only thing that wasn't perfect was the clinical, to be more clinical when we have the chances. But yeah, we had a lot of positive things we can take from this game, and then you also must say the second half, and especially at the end, we were very open because we didn't care about our goal difference or something. We wanted to play like we did the whole time, and maybe this was then the reason why it was a little bit too high, maybe. But okay, no problem. I think we showed a brave performance there, and against the best team in the world, you can lose. So now we have another challenge, and the focus went immediately. We made the debrief on Sunday morning. This is not normal. Normally we take more time, but to push it away immediately, then concentrating on the next big challenge.
Where does this next big challenge sit for you? Because a lot's been said about the replays, about the winter break being cut short, about players that cancel holidays. We know Jurgen Klopp won't be at Liverpool's game later on.
Yeah, I think this is, you must see it separate with two things. The one thing is about the schedule of the FA Cup with this re-games. My personal opinion, that I'm not a friend of these three games because it minimized the chance for the smaller teams, to be honest, to maybe make us a big miracle and go through the next round. It makes it more difficult because after a draw you have to play a regame. And for the second thing is the schedule. We are all accepting in summer that we have this regame in the winter break. Maybe next year we should think about if this is really necessary to make it exactly in this week. This is something we must think about. Maybe it doesn't make sense because we speak about a winter break and there is no then, and so it's not the best, but we have to accept it. For us, maybe it's not that hard like for teams they are playing Champions League and continue playing 3 games a week the whole season. So we didn't fight 90 minutes against Tottenham at home that we then go with a under 23 there. So it's a very big game for us, and this is why we take it so serious.
Can we expect to see many changes tomorrow?
I haven't seen the group yet. We train in the afternoon and must have a look how they are, how they feel. We invested a lot on the weekend, and we must have a look how fresh they are and how fit they are, and then we will decide it.
Do you expect Danny Ings to start?
Possible, yes.
And Carl Walker-Peters, how's he doing, and do you think fans can expect to see him feature tomorrow?
No, because he's not allowed to play. Sorry. Cut it.
Talking of Tottenham, obviously a really good result for them over Manchester City. You're now playing 3 days later. Does that make the task harder tomorrow night?
I think it's a strong side, especially at home. You see how difficult it is to win there, and we had them twice now in the last month. So see us again and know each other very well now, I think, and that makes the opposition meeting a short one, I think, because you don't have to tell them about their strengths and their quality. And we go there to make the best game that is possible for us, and adapt a little bit to the last game because we had a few moments where they countered very well, and they have quality in the counter attack. So maybe we give them other opportunities, but this we don't want to give them.
And you said about Walker-Peters not being able to play for you. Someone who can't play for them is Stephen Bergwijn, one of their new players. I don't know if you saw the game on the weekend.
Yeah, sure.
A really great debut. Is that a positive that he's not playing?
He made a fantastic goal in a big game, and but I think even if they rotate, they have so much quality in the squad. Then it's we expect the best possible team from them, and they're also looking for getting a trophy this season. And I think it's the best way for Tottenham to get one, or the only way maybe. Yeah, they are also in the Champions League, and so they have a few opportunities. But I think this is the shortest way for them, and they will do everything to go in the next round, and we will do the same.
And just lastly from me, according to a new YouGov poll, 2/3 of football fans believe that VAR has made the game less enjoyable. What do you make of that? Obviously, you've had your own incidents, especially over the weekend against Liverpool as well for their opener.
I don't know. Are there still people who are looking in television or are in the stands? And I don't know what the meaning is. So I think, in my opinion, it's the VR is a big profit for the football. Although it's not everything perfect so far, and you know my opinion. You know what I always said. I said that the final decision has to be taken in the stadium, in the ground. And I think our game on the weekend was the best example of taking subjective decisions from the referee. I think it's better for him to look again on the penalty scenes we had in last weekend than to let the VR do. I think it's enough if the VR gives him a message of, look again, maybe you have seen the scene once. If you see it twice, maybe you decide different, but then the final decision is from him, from the referee. Then they can boo about him if they want, but he's the guy who has the responsibility for the game, and this is what I always said, and I think that must be, I think we must think about the change, because then the exception for the VR will be a higher one, I'm sure.
Ralph, I know you haven't seen the group that played at the weekend, but anyone, Stuart Armstrong or anyone like that to...
Stuart is ahead of the schedule, if you want. He's quicker, fit maybe than we think. If it's enough for Wednesday, I don't think so.
And how much, you mentioned sort of plans changing a bit because of this game. How specifically have plans been changed? Were you looking to take the team away or holidays, or what's happened because of this game?
I think we were thinking about a few days off for the players. It was a very, very intense Christmas time, and until now we had a lot of games, very intense game. Players that played nearly every game, or I think probably played every game, every minute. So it's, I think, important for the mental and physical recovery that they have a few days off. And they will still get them from me. I will give them a few days off, and then we start on next Tuesday. And we have the shortest break from all the teams, but we have to accept it, and we do it, take the best out of it, and try to give them as long as possible the rest they need, and then start again. So for us, it's okay.
With your style of play, and I saw sort of message on the training ground wall, if you can't outplay them, outwork them. So does a break mean more, is it more important to your team than it might be to others?
We got used to our intense game. I think it was interesting to see how quick they adapted to also play 3 times a week like this, like we do. And I didn't have the feeling that we played the third game of the week less intense than the first one. And this is an important message for me also. I think you can see if you train like this every day, if you work like this every day, they get adapted to it, and then the workload is a higher one. We had in the last game again 5 or 6 players with more than 1,000 meters high-speed runnings, and this is absolutely important against teams. They are maybe individually better than you are, but still wobbling there, especially in the first half. And if you work like this, if you play like this, with this intensity, it's for no other opponent easy to play against. And I think then if you can handle this with your fitness, with your physical quality, then there's nothing there's no reason why you shouldn't do it all the time. And this is the benchmark now. And as I said, the players get used to it, and I think at the moment they enjoy working that hard.
And I know it's a system that needs every player to to work that hard, but we have this sort of traditional view in England about the midfield being the engine room. Does your midfield deserve particular praise for the extra work they put in, going back and forward?
Yeah, interesting, sure. In the midfield games, you will decide or you will lose sometimes, yeah. Especially in our shape, I think I cannot speak about one part of the net what is more important than the other one. So it starts in front with the first filter, as I always say, and if they don't do the good work, it's not a coincidence that I sub them the first, because I think the workload there is the highest one, with the sprinting, with the average of sprints and so, and then every other part of this net is also important. So I cannot say that this is the most important thing, but yes, sure, you need every player. And I think, and that is something I've also seen on the weekend, if you play against a team like Liverpool, they have no position where they are not perfect. And this is something, if you want to have a chance against such an opponent, you have to be better committed, better organized. And I think we have been 45 minutes. That's not enough to win against such a team, but I think it was an important match for us to see this, how it works. If we are good organized, if you play like this, and we have even against such a team the chance to score, the chance to enter the box. I think we had the highest box entries since 2014 at Anfield Road as an opponent team. So I think this is a massive signal for us. But yeah, to win there, you need to have a few goals scored at that moment, but we didn't. So still to improve, still to get better, but the way is the right one, I think.
And you mentioned Prowse earlier, and you've talked him up before, but the way he's then slotted in at right back to sort of solve that problem, how big a help has that been for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to have every position covered with two players, but it's still important if you have players that are flexible and can also help you there or there if you need them. And especially when you have two right backs now out because the one is just coming in and the other one is still injured, then you need options. And if you have a player like Prowse, I think only the gloves he didn't wear so far to go in the goal. The rest, I think, if you ask him to play, he will do it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Leon.
Okay, we're in that section now and move on.